Euphoria is over and it's the perfect time to discuss Zendaya. She started on Disney Channel at such a young age, and the way that she did not have a messy tabloid moment or an aggressive "I'm an adult" rebrand, I think is very impressive. And she has become a respected actress and fashion icon. 2 Emmys and consistent and extravagant and beautiful Met Gala appearances that literally stops the internet every single time. And her role in Euphoria made a lot of people feel a level of empathy that they probably did not know existed. So how does this happen? How did a Disney kid do this? And of course, you know I had to pull her birth chart. And hello gorgeous, I am Ethereal Mother, your favorite artist, psychic, and astrologer. And definitely subscribe because I do this kind of stuff all the time. And so today we are breaking down Zendaya's Virgo Sun, Taurus Moon, Scorpio Midheaven, Aquarius Rising, and Mercury in Libra. First up is her Virgo Sun, which is the foundation of her chart in my opinion. Virgo is the earth sign. It's also the energy of precision and discernment. Because she doesn't overact, it's like every single thing, every single movement, like all of these things are so intentional. And there's so many moments in Euphoria that were not big dramatic scenes. A lot of the quiet ones were pulling heartstrings at times. It could have been a slight change in her eyes. It could have been her holding her breath a little too long. And this is someone who studied the craft, but also human behavior in a very precise way as well. And so it's interesting that Virgo is ruled by Mercury, which is the planet of communication. But that's not the only way that you can communicate. It's how you move, facial expressions, body language, even how you interact with another actor. And Zendaya is capable of communicating everything without saying a word. And that is a Mercury-ruled sign, Virgo, doing its best. Now let's talk about her transition, because this is where her Virgo energy really propelled her in a new stratosphere of fame. And it's so interesting that when a Disney kid wants to show the world that they're grown up, we see it a mile away. And it's always a pattern. It's very loud, abrupt, aggressive, rebellious, and it's like, girl, we get it. But Virgo did not need to do all that. The energy and Zendaya picked the right roles to really branch out in a way that I think many people need to take notes on. And Virgo picks the right roles at the right time, and everything was very incremental. So she went from Casey Undercover to Spider-Man Homecoming, The Greatest Showman. And then when that chapter closed, Euphoria appeared. There was no dramatic declaration. It's very calculated, intentional, and a perfectly timed pivot. And one more thing about Virgo, it is the sign of service. And she talked about in an interview, one of the things that she enjoyed the most about playing Rue. There was a lot of people who felt very seen in her portrayal of this character. And people struggling with addiction and grief and depression and the very vicious cycles of falling and then getting back up and falling and getting back up. And many people were able to see their experience reflected on screen. Zendaya did it so beautifully in a way that you were consistently rooting for this character, rooting for them to do better, rooting for them to make better decisions. And this was such a beautiful platform for someone with a Virgo sun to use their talents as an act of service. Now let's get into her emotional core, which is her Taurus moon. Now your moon sign is your inner world, how you process feelings, what makes you feel safe, and where your natural gifts come from. In Taurus moon, this is the most grounded and steady placements that you could possibly have. And again, if you watch her in interviews, the way that she speaks is very calm, very steady, very grounded. Even if she's talking about something very intense, it's still, it's really captivating. And emotional steadiness is absolutely a superpower, especially for someone who has a Virgo sun. Virgo, like I said, is ruled by Mercury. Mercury can represent more of a nervous energy. So having your emotional inner core in a earth sign that is helping you to kind of ground, that's a really nice balance. I also do think it's fascinating that Taurus rules the throat. And of course she can sing. And she has a very like low, tonally rich sound. And again, this is why I love astrology, because it's written in her chart, like verbatim. And also a Taurus moon, a Taurus energy in general is your natural talents. And the way that she's able to perform and dance and sing and act in a way that is consistent, but also constantly evolving. And there's always this sense of ease and grace when she is, you know, on stage or even walking a red carpet even. I want to talk quickly about her Mercury and Libra. Again, Mercury is how you think and communicate. And Libra is charming and diplomatic and a social grace and the ability to read the room. And when you put these energies together, you get someone who can talk to anyone about anything and make you feel like the most important person in the room. And you're absolutely familiar with this energy. Like if you've ever gotten your hair done and you sit down and within like 5 minutes, you're telling your whole life story, all your tea with someone that matches your conversational energy as well. And that is Libra. They are very much a social chameleon. And I love how they're so genuinely adaptable and charming as well. And again, if you watch her in interviews or doing press runs, she's funny without really trying to be funny. She's very warm and inviting. And she also knows how to navigate hard questions with a very elegant but firm boundary. Now let's get into the part of her chart that I think a lot of people feel, but they don't know how to name it, which is her Aquarius rising. Your rising sign is how you move through the world. It's your first impression, and it's the energy that you give off before even opening your mouth. And a Aquarius rising is an it girl placement. It's like, you know, that person in high school or at a party or wherever who you just had to know, you were just really curious about. And not because they were trying to get attention, it's actually the opposite. They were just a little detached, kind of in their own world, very magnetic, but also kind of slightly out of reach. That is an Aquarius right there. The best analogy that I have for an Aquarius rising or Aquarius placement is like a cat. You see them 1 minute and then they're gone the next. And it's funny because I have my cat right here. This is Rubio. Say hi. No, say hi. Okay. And the moment you think that you figured them out, they're gone. Zendaya's version of MJ and Spider-Man Homecoming is honestly the best case study for an Aquarius rising. Very dry sense of humor, a little offbeat, intelligent, mysterious, and not interested in performing for approval. They really do make their own trends. And even Zendaya kind of described this character as someone who is slightly out of the norm. And it's not a coincidence. That is actually Zendaya pouring into this role in a very nonchalant way. And then there is the fashion. And her Aquarius rising give her red carpet runway appearances such a futuristic, experimental, and captivating vibe. And always like 3 steps ahead of a trend, or she creates it herself, like I said earlier. And this is also where her Scorpio Midheaven or her MC starts to kind of bleed in here. And it's not just avant-garde, it's very seductive and also like a little bit of drama, like her and that leg. And these two placements together, her Aquarius rising and her Scorpio Midheaven is just energy that you cannot manufacture. And a huge part of the story is her becoming incredible friends with Law Roach. They've been working together since she was 14. And this collaboration is so special. And he has a Cancer sun. I can't find his birth time, so maybe I'll do a birth chart breakdown one day, but I got some research to do. And Cancer has this gift of intuitive knowing. And he holds this memory of her entire fashion journey, fashion in general, knows the culture, knows the moment, and really knows her. And together they've really turned heads with these cultural fashion moments, like her Joan of Arc look or the Garden of Time. And they were such iconic statements. And that really is the magic of having an Aquarius rising, but also working with someone that is so intuitively gifted and understands you completely. And now let's talk about the placement that explains her legacy, which is her Scorpio Midheaven or MC, which is the highest point of your chart. It's your career, your public image, what you're known for, and how the world will remember you. And having Scorpio in this part of your chart is very powerful and intense. Scorpio is associated with magnetism, permanent transformation, depth, privacy, and things that people don't typically want to talk about, but they feel it. The taboo, the dark, the occult. As someone who has Scorpio ruling their career sector, it would make sense that she would choose a role playing a teenager struggling with addiction. Euphoria was not a safe choice. It was not a crowd pleaser. And she had the courage to deliberately walk into this role and really embody a lot of really dark material. And she was able to transform into this character in a way that Euphoria really is like lightning in a bottle. It won her 2 Emmys. She won for lead actress in a series in 2020 and then again in 2022. And becoming one of the youngest actresses to ever win this award twice. And Zendaya chose this role because addiction does not look one way. It can look like relationship addiction, of course, substance abuse, fixation, and desperation, and having this intense weight on you in a world that wants you to feel like you're drowning at times. And she wanted to show all of that, the relapses, the cycles, the people that love you deeply but can't save you. And these stories deserve to be told. And as a viewer, and for Zendaya having a Scorpio midheaven, it really transformed the way that viewers perceive struggle. And I think for a lot of people, they have, I think I said this earlier, have a new level of empathy for people dealing with these types of issues, because many people have kind of become a bit desensitized to human suffering. The power of this placement, but also embodying it, is something that can't really be replicated, because a lot of people don't really have the courage to investigate this level of depth, which is understandable. It's a little scary at times. So when we put all of this together, this is what we have. Her Virgo sun that approaches every role with precision and intention, using her platform as an act of service for the people watching, but also for the people who could empathize or have experienced these types of situations. A Taurus moon that gives her emotional steadiness, natural talent, and a very beautiful voice. A Mercury in Libra that makes her very socially intelligent and very charming. An Aquarius rising that makes her a one-of-one it girl who can never be replicated. And a Scorpio midheaven or MC that pulls her into some very dark and thought-provoking transformative work. And Scorpio is also a fixed sign as well, so consistently she is going to give an excellent performance. And I think it's funny that Zendaya did not have a very messy or weird and rebellious "I'm an adult" moment, because that Virgo energy was like, nah babe, we don't need to do all that. Now that Euphoria is over, I would love to hear your commentary on what you thought about this season. It was very interesting. I think Zendaya did an incredible job. I always feel that way about her acting capabilities, as you can see. The writing in this season was not my favorite. It definitely needed some work, but this is definitely an end of an era for Zendaya. I feel like she's very happy that it's over, in my opinion, but I'm excited to see what she does next. But if you made it to the end of the video, first and foremost, thank you. And again, drop your thoughts in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And if you want to understand your own chart, I am available for readings. But until next time, don't forget to subscribe. I love you. You are loved. You deserve love. And until next time, bye.